Welcome back to another episode of What I Watched this month. This time it is July 2020 edition. This episode will be a good bit shorter than my previous one as I really didn't have the chance to watch too much. I was actually busy working on my own short film which will be coming out sometime next month. It's certainly my biggest project yet. I'm not going to reveal much just yet, but trust me, it's coming. Anyways, I started off this month by watching the first season of the German series Dark. Dark is set in the fictional German town of Winden, and it follows the story of four estranged families as they slowly unravel a sinister time travel conspiracy which spans several generations. This season came out way back in 2017, so I realise I'm a good bit behind coming out with this. Anyways, I found the story of this season certainly compelling and memorable. The way it deals with the typical plot device of time travel is totally unique. However, I feel at times the series was dragging a bit. It seemed to delve far too much in seemingly unnecessary storylines which made the whole thing very muddled and unclear, to me at least. Many of these explored storylines were never satisfyingly concluded either by the end of the season. The series in general just seems to overcomplicate things. Perhaps it's just me who feels this, I don't know. Next, I watched Midnight in Paris, directed and written by Woody Allen. This film follows Gil Pender, played by Owen Wilson, a screenwriter who has travelled to Paris with his materialistic fiancée to finish his first novel. One night while walking the streets of Paris alone at midnight, Gil discovers a way to travel to 1920s Paris. There, he meets such heroes as Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald and Gertrude Stein. This film is actually the first I've seen of Woody Allen's, and so far I really like his work. This film was witty, heartwarming, and the story was simple and elegant. The dialogue in this film was one aspect which really stood out to me, along with the editing which was smooth and well done. This film explores themes of nostalgia and modernism like nothing else I've seen. The contrast between the past-loving and nostalgic Gil and the ultra-modernist and materialistic nature of his fiancée, Inez, serves as an analogy of sorts for the conflict present within our own society between liberalism and conservatism. My only reservation about this film is the oftentimes unrealistic way that some of the characters behave, but I suppose it is a fantasy movie after all, and one is expected to suspend their disbelief. Next, I rewatched The Two Popes, directed by Fernando Morel. The Two Popes is a biographical drama following Pope Benedict XVI, played by Anthony Hopkins, as he attempts to convince Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio, played by Jonathan Pryce, to reconsider his decision to resign as an archbishop, as he confides his own intentions to abdicate the papacy. I love this film. I loved it when I first saw it, and I'm happy to say I still do on rewatching it. The film straight up feels like a big budget National Geographic documentary. This is achieved in large part to the performances of Price and Hopkins, which feel so raw and pure. Rarely have I felt such an emotional attachment to a character in a film before. The cinematography also lends itself to the documentary feel which exists in the film. As the film is largely shot handheld and the camera seems to move around the scene in a totally improv and unplanned way. We also can't talk about this film without mentioning the editing. The editing was just terrific. There's one scene near the start of the film where the archbishops enter the Sistine Chapel to the tune of ABBA's Dancing Queen no less to vote in a new pope, which was just incredibly cut. Anyways, if you haven't seen this film, you're missing out. It's on Netflix, go watch it. I then watched 1 Hour Photo, directed by Mark Romanek. This film follows the story of Cy, played by Robert Williams, a photo technician at a 1 hour photo kiosk who, over the years, becomes obsessed with a family he regularly prints photos for. This was quite a strange film. From looking at any trailers or synopses of this film, you'd think it would be a deeply unsettling thriller. The film description on Wikipedia even calls it a psychological thriller. But instead, I found this film just to be sad. The film manages to depict the sad life of Williams' character in such a way that the viewer sympathizes with him greatly and feels sorry for him. The against-type performance of Williams was my favourite that I've seen of his. The only issue I have with this film is its ending, which for me was a lost opportunity of sorts. I'm going to try not to spoil anything, but a twist of sorts occurs near the end of the film after Williams' character reveals something about his past. But the revelation is almost too subtle to notice on first viewing. This isn't helped by the fact that the film just leaves this highly important piece of character backstory sitting there. Nevertheless, the film was worth the watch, at least for Robin Williams' performance. And that's it for this video. Please stay tuned for future videos and short films on my channel. I'll see you all next month.